their blood sugar gets too high, they say you have metabolic syndrome, or maybe you're even pre-diabetic or you're diabetic. What we'd love it to look like is just like this. You get up in the morning, there's a little rise. So let's say that's around 6 a.m., around 10 a.m. What's 10 a.m. and 3 p.m.? We put them into our culture. Do you know what we call them? It's a coffee break, right? We institutionalized it. You get a little low, you need a little snack. You eat lunch, it goes back up. Around 3 p.m., you need another Snickers bar and a cup of coffee. You eat dinner, it goes back up, you go to sleep, it starts to lower back down, you sleep. And then around 2 a.m., your blood sugar and hormones in your blood start to kind of wake you up. And so you can get back up again at 6 a.m. That's what we'd like to see. So here's what happens with the coffee and the monkey mind in the morning. Your blood sugar spikes up, way up there. What else happens when your blood sugar spikes up? Your body has to release insulin to get it down. Because evolution-wise, I don't know where anybody stands on evolution, but I'll be careful. We didn't evolve to ever eat the 200 pounds of sugar that we on average eat as Americans per year. And that kind of is scary to me because I'm not eating 200 pounds of sugar, so somebody is eating their sugar and my sugar to make that average. And probably most people in this room aren't eating that much sugar. But if I should have done this, bring a list of all of the names that we call sugar. You guys know some, but there's some that are like, you got it hidden. So when the blood sugar spikes, our body releases insulin. It's an emergency. Our body doesn't know how to deal with a spike like that. It wasn't designed to have a spike like that. It was designed for this humdrum blood sugar thing we've got going on around here. So when it releases insulin, it's kind of an emergency situation. It releases a lot of it. It's like, hey, I've never seen this in 250,000 years of evolution. Only the past 200 years has this been happening. Something's bad wrong, and we need to get the insulin or the blood sugar down. So it releases insulin. And then what happens is that instead of this nice curve, the blood sugar drops way down there. And then the body freaks out again. It's like, wait a second, the blood sugar's never been this low. And who here experiences, if you're at your desk, and I've experienced this many times in my life, you get up to go to the bathroom around mid-morning, and you're lightheaded. And you're kind of like, ooh, I'm a little bit dizzy. Or after you exercise, maybe in your squat position, you get up too fast and you're dizzy. Does anybody experience that? That's a low blood sugar. And somebody might say, oh, you're hypoglycemic. You might not have that diagnosis, but in that moment, yeah, your blood sugar's low. So now it gets down too low. The body, then it puts out another hormone because it's too low, it needs to go back up. That's called glucagon. It's kind of the lost blood sugar hormone. We talk about insulin a lot. We don't talk about glucagon too much. Here's why. It gets so low from the overproduction of insulin from the pancreas. Everybody just kind of feel under your left rib cage. Is it a little tender in there at all? Do you feel anything? Does it feel a little swollen? Does it feel normal? Anything? Feel anything?
Doesn't feel anything.
Good. That's great. See how it feels when you're laying down tonight. You're going to get a better feel rather than sitting down. That's where your pancreas is. It releases so much insulin that it is a big emergency. And then instead of your liver being able to deal with it with these hormones, your adrenals get involved. Now here's the key to the weight loss. Your adrenals, they're adrenals above kidneys. They're just these little guys that sit right on top of your kidneys back here. Lower back pain, anybody have that? A lot of times, if you get out of the alignment world, you've done everything you can for lower back pain there, and you get over to my world and the biochemical world, it's adrenals. They've been working so hard to keep your blood sugar from getting too low that they're firing, and it hurts. And you get referred pain down to your lower back. If your adrenals fire, they're firing there, it's going come back up, insulin, not to mention your liver's overworking with all this hormone production. Your adrenals fire here, your adrenals fire here. That is more times of adrenal firing than probably would ever happen in 3 months in how your body thinks things should go. So back in the day, you were hanging out at camp, eating some meat with your peeps, you know, in the caveman days, and a woolly mammoth or a saber-toothed tiger or whatever came into camp, and you ran. That's your adrenal fire. That happened. I mean, how often did that happen? It didn't happen. Your body is designed for a very infrequent firing of the adrenals. The firing is adrenaline, and cortisol. 2 of the most infamous fat storage hormones in your body. You see what I'm saying? If it fires over and over and over throughout the day, those hormones keep fat on your body more than anything else. Carbohydrates make those adrenals fire sometimes. There's a huge biochemical line that we can draw there, that they do. Just trust me.
So do the adrenals spark hunger then? Because I thought part of that insulin cycle was that when the insulin socked away all the sugar, you became starving again and then you went and ate more carbs.
Sure.
So the adrenals make you hungry, stimulate hunger?
It's not the adrenals that make you hungry, it's the storage of the glucose.
Oh, I see. They just take it out, so that triggers it. Right.
The adrenals are actually working to get the sugar back up
How are they doing that?
with adrenaline and with cortisol. It's a very subtle fight or flight. So there's 2 things you can do in fight or flight. You can fight or you can run. You can't digest, which is from last session. You can't procreate. If you eat, it doesn't work out. Who here has tried to eat when they're nervous? Oh, you just feel terrible. That's related to this digestively. Blood sugar-wise, you are storing sugar through that adrenal firing action, and that sugar, eventually your body turns it into fat. That's why I'm saying the carbs store as fat more than fat stores as fat. That's why, it's because of this. So I know my experience, my sprinklers used to come on, my adrenals would fire. The phone rings, and then my cell phone rings, my adrenals fire. Skylar Bailey would fight, my adrenals fire. All day long, we have that experience. We know that that's true as humans. So, take 5 to 10 minutes out of your workday, which I know seems like a huge possibility, but it's possible. I don't care if you're looking at stupid cat videos on YouTube. If you like it, if it brings you joy and you get to just let down a little bit in your day, great, watch the cat videos. I have one woman, and it is her homework to watch the cooking channel for 5 minutes a day. She loves it. It helps her. So does this make sense to you all? Scone, coffee, boom, insulin. Around 10 a.m. it drops again, and what do you crave? And then you go out to lunch, and what do you eat for lunch? A sandwich with a bunch of bread, a side of french fries, and some ketchup, carb, 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 carb. A little thin piece of protein in the middle, the meat. Maybe. And then around 3 p.m. you get another drop. Skittles or M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, that's what used to be at my office. Goes back up again with dinner because you go home, what do you have? Cocktail. I don't know about y'all, but beer or ginger ale and whiskey, those are my 2 cocktails. I love ginger ale and whiskey. That main root ginger ale I recommended to you all. And then it drops again, and you're trying to go to sleep, and you feel off, you get feeling your digestion isn't working right. Of course, because you've been doing this all day long. And then who here does this around 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning? I always ask people, do you have to wake up to pee at night? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, what time do you have to wake up? Between 2 and 4 usually. And I'm like, do you really have to pee? And sometimes they're like, no, I don't have to pee. And I said, well, then why are you waking up? That's why. And every time that happens, your body is storing fat. Because you know what it thinks is that it's an emergency. So it's not going to let go of anything an emergency. An emergency being a woolly mammoth is after you, there's a flood on, there's not going to be any food. You know, we kind of have to think back, like, what were some things that our body would think back in the day, because that's how we're designed. Here's the underlying of all of this. We are still very, very similar physically to how we were 200,000 years ago. Maybe we're 10% different. Some people say not even 5% different. So we haven't adapted that much. The ag revolution was 10,000 years ago. Grains got introduced to different parts of the world. Carbs haven't been around that long. This has never happened. 200 pounds of sugar a year has never happened. So we've got to get this straightened out. Where's the eraser? We've got to fix the blood sugar.
The towel right there on the, yeah.
We've got to get this straightened out and get you even. That's how it needs to look. So how do we do that? Or this. And the diet that I'm recommending for you all. All the recipes that I give to you guys, the shopping list, everything, I have this in the back of my mind because ultimately, these first two sessions, the digestive function and the blood sugar function, are the two reasons why most people gain weight. Period. You get that straightened out in people, it drops like a stone. Do you guys have any questions? Y'all look lazy a little bit. There's a lot of biochemistry I'm skipping over because it's too much. It's there. We can go into it a little bit if you want to. Yeah.
So, what about green tea if you're replacing that with coffee?
It's better.
Does it still do the same thing in the morning?
Not as much. There's less caffeine and there's less constituents in green tea that would create that spike than there are in coffee. It's better. There are antioxidants in green tea that are really wonderful, especially for men. Green tea is great. And if you're like drinking coffee right now, I think I said this last week, I'm not saying go off coffee. It's terrible. I'll get hate mail. It will make you feel horrible. Green tea is a really good transition. Optimally, you wouldn't need caffeine. You will see in your energy levels over time, if you don't have caffeine or stimulants, you will have more energy because that crash isn't happening. Most of us are living off of adrenaline, crash, stimulant. Adrenaline, crash, stimulant. Adrenaline all day long. So over time, if that adrenaline and that stimulant aren't there, your energy will be more sustained because your blood sugar will be even. And you won't hold the insulin weight. It's called the cortisol belly. Have you guys ever heard that term? You get a little pot belly as you get older, and you go to the doc and he says, oh, it's a cortisol belly. Has your doc ever said that? Cortisol is one of the main hormones in adrenaline production. When adrenaline comes out, here comes the cortisol. Overproduction of cortisol long term is what creates fatigue. You can't get up in the morning. Maybe you become a night owl at night, you stay up way late, and then you just can't get up in the morning. That's cortisol, and it holds back. Decaf coffee is, again, it's better. There is still some caffeine in decaf. It's there. So sleeping in. Everybody who can't sleep in the morning, your cortisol production has gone up. It starts up naturally with, if you were perfect, you know, that's what I'm shooting for. You would rise a little bit so that you would get up in the morning. If you get up in the morning and you're just like a cartoon, you know, waking up, it has risen too high between 2 and 6 a.m. And then when you're up, and that's it. There's no stopping you. When your blood sugar starts to get evened out, that will slow down. Sleeping in, excellent. Start your day with a savory breakfast. That's the next one on here. If you don't have that first sugar coffee spike, and you have something savory, look, it could be a handful of nuts and a small piece of cheese. That's fine. I'm trying to think what I had. Oh, I had sweet potato casserole this morning for breakfast. Sweet's in the name. It's great. It was savory. It was sweet potato, eggs, I think coconut oil and butter, and some cinnamon, and I baked it. And I had that. I think I had a handful of almonds. So eat a savory breakfast. It doesn't have to be fancy. Try to relax throughout your day. Having that stressed out, you know how you feel at work when you're boss is being a jerk and you're worried about